Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Annalisa and today I am doing the Omnivore Book Tag, which was created by Emma and I was tagged in by Kara, so thank you very much to them. I will be linking both of them below. And I have Pride makeup and earrings because it is Pride Month. If you want LGBTQ plus book reviews, I should have 2 vlogs up on my channel for this month, and then I will also link below several other videos from past years and months that include a lot of that type of content. But since I'm doing vlogs instead of wrap-ups this month, I wasn't going to have another chance to do the makeup, so I did the makeup for this video. So the point of this tag is to talk about the different genres that you read and to try to pick as different genres as possible. There are only a few genres that I really avoid. I avoid literary and horror, and I don't read very much thriller, but I do read it occasionally. I used to not read much contemporary, but I've been reading quite a bit more of that lately. So the 4 genres that I picked, because they seem the most different, are middle grade fantasy, and I decided to do the subgenre of middle grade, or age category of middle grade, because several of the other genres I mostly read adult in, so it's to make it extra different. And then also mystery, romance, and nonfiction, which there are also subgenres of nonfiction like memoirs and histories and stuff, but I decided to just use that as a whole genre because it's very different from genre fiction. And for each of these categories you're supposed to answer 3 questions. So I'm going to start with middle grade fantasy, and the questions are: 1, what is your favorite book of this genre? For the genres that I've been reading for a really long time, I picked 2 of these, one all time and one that I read this year. So my favorite of all time is the Fairyland series by Catherine Valente. This whole series is just absolutely delightful. It's portal fantasy. It's an omniscient narrator who has a personality, and I really like the way it's written, and the world building is absolutely fascinating and feels nostalgic despite being different from anything I've ever read before. And my favorite middle grade fantasy that I've read this year is The Marvelers, which just came out recently, and it was absolutely delightful. It's about a girl who goes to a magical school, but she uses a subtype of magic called conjuring that is not popular, and her people are kind of oppressed and left out of the magical community, and so she has to deal with that at school, but she makes a couple of really great friends, and I really love their relationships, and also the mentor relationships she gets with some of the teachers, and the world building there is really fun too. The second question is, what is your most recent read or what you're currently reading from this genre? And I just finished The Witchlings, which also came out fairly recently in the last couple of months, and it is about 3 little witchlings who don't join normal covens. They are the leftover spares. When they turn 12, there's the wrong number of kids, so they don't all get sorted into 5-person covens. And in this society, spares are the oppressed ones, so we get to live through that, and also them doing a challenge to try to get some more rights. And it's a very dangerous challenge, and involves going after the night beast. And so we have a really cool adventure there. I really love the characters, and I really love how the relationship of the trio develops, and they are not unified at all at the beginning, and growing into their own little group is really cool to watch. The third question is, what is the next book you are planning to read from this genre? And for me, that's The Stone Girl story, which I've actually already started but have put off to be able to read more Pride Month books. But it so far is really interesting. I'm about 50 pages in, and Kara, who tagged me, said that she had read this and had liked it, so I moved it up on my TBR. I got it in a recent haul, so that's why I'm able to put it off. It doesn't have to go back to the library. Okay, now I'm going to answer those questions for the mystery genre. And I've read less mystery books, so I just picked one favorite for this, and that is the In Death series by J.D. Robb. Again, a series because it's hard to pick one book from such a great series, and where the continuation of the character growth is like one of the best things about it. So I really love the character creation in this series. The first 3 books are a bit rough. This was when Nora Roberts, aka J.D. Robb, was a younger writer and wasn't as good as she is now. But as the series evolves, about the 4th book she really hits her stride, and you start getting more involved with the side characters, and the world building develops more, and you get deeper and deeper into the relationship between the 2 main characters, which I didn't care for as much in the first 3 books, but after that you get to really see the gooey insides of both of the main characters, and at that point I really like it. And these are police procedural murder mysteries set in 2060 approximately. My most recent read in the genre is The Murder of Mr. Wickham, which I enjoyed a lot. It has autism representation, which I thought was quite good, and it is a historical mystery involving the characters of Jane Austen's book, and Mr. Wickham gets murdered and we have to solve his murder. And the main 2 characters are children of the couples of those books, and so they are the ones doing most of the solving of the mystery, and they also bond with each other a lot, and that's really nice to see. The next one I'm planning on reading is probably the next one in the J.D. Robb series, but other than that, The Curse of the Pharaohs is the 2nd book in the Amelia Peabody series of mysteries, which are also historical mysteries, and I would like to get back to those because Amelia Peabody is hilarious, and I really enjoy her whole personality, and also the side characters for that book. They are very well developed and are funny but also very heartfelt, and they're set in Egypt. That's why Curse of the Pharaohs. For romance, my favorite of all time is probably Radiance by Grace Draven, and that one is a fantasy romance, and I love a lot of Grace Draven stuff, but this one specifically is an arranged marriage, friends to lovers situation, and I really enjoy the way that was handled. Then from this year, my favorite was What If You and Me, which has a character with anxiety and PTSD and a character who had a leg amputation because of an injury and who also has PTSD from that injury. He was a firefighter, and how they come together and deal with each other's past hurts and are like super kind to each other, and I love that as well. The most recent or currently reading is, I'm not sure what the full title is, but it has The Raven King in it, and it's by Jeffe Kennedy, and I'll put up the cover. It's the most recent of Jeffe Kennedy's in this Uncharted Realms series, or what's this one called? Children of Magic, Heirs of Magic. More fantasy romance. I really like fantasy romance. This is about the children of the couples from the last series that she wrote, and so far I like them a lot, and I like how their relationships with their parents and their parents' relationships with each other have affected these kids' relationships with each other, as well as their personalities and how they express things. So that's fun, and also they have a quest to go on, so this little group is all going on a quest together and gradually pairing off. Then the next one I plan on reading is Everything Leads Back to You. That's gonna be another Pride Month read. It is a 2 women falling in love. It's contemporary and it takes place in Hollywood and has to do with a set designer, and I'm thinking possibly the granddaughter of a movie star who doesn't know that she's the granddaughter of the movie star. Then for nonfiction, my favorite of all time is hard to pick, so I just picked one from this year that I enjoyed, which is Rolling Warrior by Judith E. Human. I really liked reading about her advocacy and like how much was required in order to get the rights that disabled people have today, and which we still have to fight for because people want to roll them back all the time. That was really interesting. Quite recently I read Proud, which is another memoir, and this was about Ibtihaj Muhammad, who was a Olympic fencer, and she wore hijab to the Olympics, which was a very big deal, and she's a big role model for a lot of hijabi women, and that was really cool. I cried at the end when she is holding a doll that Mattel made a Barbie version of her, and who wears hijab and has a fencing foil, and now I really want to buy that doll. And then next I plan on reading Hood Feminism. I've got the audiobook on hold from my library, so that should be coming in soon. So that is the tag. I am not sure who has done this tag already. I'll take Anya because I think she reads a lot of fantasy and a lot of middle grade, but I think she also reads other things. I'll also tag Cal from Retrieving Books, who I'm pretty sure I've seen review romances and nonfiction and several other genres. I think Renee might read enough genres for this as well, so I will link y'all's channels below, but if you don't feel like it, no pressure. How about a rainbow emoji for emoji of the day? And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!